Business owners at and around the Plaza Shopping Center at Sunshine and Glenstone say the homelessness problem is out of control and impacting their business and their workers' safety. Elizabeth Van Metre is live there to explain what owners think is the root of the problem. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Lee, this morning KY3 was invited inside of a meeting with local businesses to hear about the problems and also heard solutions that the owners have come up with. Turns out everyone agrees removing gambling businesses like this one behind me from the plaza would help greatly.
I believe this is probably the best shopping center in the state of Missouri at one time.
Joe Cooper, the owner of Cooper's Clippers, was among more than 20 business owners at a meeting today addressing homelessness at the plaza. He and others say the problem is the 24-hour businesses operating alongside theirs.
And I don't understand why the city is allowing gambling, and gambling is supposed to be illegal in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, those business owners are talking about places like this behind me. It says Big Win Arcade Games on it. There are several of these in the plaza. The business owners say that businesses like these keep real customers from coming to theirs. We tried to speak with owners inside two different ones on the plaza. Neither were at today's meeting. Both declined on-camera interviews, but said they're doing nothing illegal. These businesses tout they have no chance gambling machines. But in June of 2021, Troop D with the Missouri State Highway Patrol coordinated multiple raids across Springfield, seizing such gambling machines from gas stations and internet cafes, including one in this plaza.
And also, we just installed this very, very serious fence.
Digs and Things is located behind this plaza. Operator Calmert says they've had to put up security measures in place to protect his business and workers.
We keep having issues. I keep catching on camera, prostitution, drug use, people going through trash, looking to steal stuff. A lot of people looking around, scoping the area that obviously shouldn't be here.
During the meeting, many female-run businesses shared they felt unsafe with the crowds the gambling businesses bring in. Sitting in on today's meeting is Springfield Mayor Pro Tem Matthew Simpson. He says that he's concerned that small businesses are dealing with this. He's taking what he heard today to council.
You know, these are business owners who have invested in our community, who do great things for our community, and they deserve our community and our city's support.
Okay, so the big question, what's next? Well, the group discussed several different things, including having a plaza watch system, hiring security altogether, having some better signage around the plaza, and ensuring everyone in the plaza has a letter of enforcement. I will tell you, I did see the Springfield Police Department here today patrolling the plaza. Reporting from Springfield, Elizabeth Van Metre, back to you.